Welcome into the Money Professor class. Once again, every Thursday evening, 6:30 or 6 p.m. on the Pacific time. We're here to put out some thought-provoking and mentally stimulating financial information. Financial education is what it's about, folks. It's really understanding how you can learn more so that you can gain more control over your money, over your finances, over your planning, your investing, and your savings. So it all works together. It all has to work together. That's kind of why we call it the coordination of benefits, because ultimately, at the end of the day, they all have to benefit together between Social Security, your voluntary savings, any 401ks that you have, any IRAs, anything you're going to live on, or what we call maintain your quality of life with. That's the quality of life money that must happen in your future. You really need to think very carefully about that. And that's what we do. Change that thought process, get that education to a higher level so you can make knowledgeable decisions about how to do these things instead of guess. We don't want you to guess, because remember, every time you flip that coin, half the time you are wrong. And that's not good. That's too big a risk in any kind of a financial planning scenario. So you don't do that, folks. Be precise. Remember, determinate spending, determinate savings have a purpose. Every dollar in retirement and savings in general and investing must have a purpose. You have to have an expectation, and that expectation must be perfectly matched with the investment's ability to deliver. And if you do that, you get a fantastic result. So we've always been sticking to the basics here. We started a few weeks ago with just some basic foundational stuff about budgeting, why it's so important, how to build a budget, how to do it on paper, the reason why that psychological advantage and that connection happens when you actually take pencil and paper and physically write it out. There's a psychological thing that takes place, and it's very important that you do it that way first. You can use technology later, but I want you to really think about it. The first time you're doing this, take that pen and take some paper and physically write it down. It makes a huge, huge difference in what happens with you internally. Right now, on this series of education, we're talking about the psychology of money and why it's so important that you really understand that you must think differently about your money if you want to get better results from it. One of the things I like to teach folks about is the loop that people get caught in, and I literally call it the psychotic. It is psychotic. It's the psychotic loop of handling money, where you're doing the same thing over and over again, hoping and expecting a better result each time. It's craziness. You're just repeating. Don't stop. Just stop. Create a different pathway. If you want something different, folks, you must create something different. You must do something different. If you want to gain control over your money, you must think differently about it and change that paradigm of interaction between you and your money. We've also talked about the psychology of money and how important it is that study that a little bit, understand the foundation. What is it that makes you make the decisions you do with money? If you're good with money, why are you good with money? Is it natural? Did you learn something? Or is it just inherent, something you witnessed as a child? Did you watch your family handle it smartly, handle it well, and you picked that trait up? Do you not handle money, and why is that? Or did you grow up in an environment where maybe money really wasn't that carefully thought of? It really wasn't planned with. It was just used. It came and went very quickly. We call that paycheck to paycheck living. Comes in, goes out, comes in, goes out, comes in, goes out. There's never really any left around to plan with. So that's a very difficult situation to find oneself and to plan for your future with. But again, it's very telling. It is the environment in which you are raised is the key to how you think and handle money today. Think about it. I read in a book very recently, and I'm going to recommend this book for all of you who really want to dive into this topic. And I guarantee that you'll gain some very valuable knowledge, and I encourage you wholeheartedly to do so. A book called The Psychology of Money. It is simply that, the psychology of money. And in this, the author writes about how many different times people do the same thing and expect a different result each and every time from their money, and it is quite remarkable. You look at that from that data metric of observation, and look around you in your own life, and I call that the arm's reach. Your circle of influence, where you can reach your arms out and touch people around you. That tight circle. Just look around. How are they handling the money? Their money, anyone's money? Do they even talk about it? Morgan Housel. That's I was trying to think of the name. Morgan Housel is the author of that book called The Psychology of Money. It's a great read. You should get it, read it. It will change the idea of what you need to be doing and how you need to be doing it, especially when it comes to money and the handling of such. Understanding that, once again, the psychology aspect of our philosophy part of how we think about money, how we interact with it, that psychological piece really can change the very fabric of how you work with it, save it, acquire it, become a magnet, have it become attracted to you. And that's one of the positive thought processes that was taught years ago, is think positively and things will draw to you. And in that, they used a coach to, how crazy this thought is, but it's actually true. And you'll find ways to make it true. That if you think positively enough and really formulate that positive mental image in your mind and then try to bring that to life, become a magnet for money. Money will come to you and stick with you, stays with you, doesn't leave you. You want to become a money magnet where the money you acquire stays. Now you have a better control over when it goes, where does it go? Remember, determined spending is the best way to have control over your budget. Build that budget. You've got to develop the idea, the philosophy. Then you have to architect it. You've got to design it, architect it, construct it. It's simply pencil on paper. It'll take about 20 minutes. It's not hard. It's not hard at all. I help folks do it every day. If you would like some help with that, you can reach out to us here. You can contact us straight away. You can give us a call on our 800 line, which most people do, or you can visit our website. I'll give you all that information right now. Go to our website, thefinancialeducationgroup.com, and an array of information is there for you. Go to the media pages, go to our download pages. You have my entire library of recordings are there. There's great resources right at your fingertips. You can also give us a call at 800-719-7917. I'll say it again, 800-719-7917. Call that number and Rebecca will answer that phone during regular business hours, that is, and she'll be happy to take your information, get you on my calendar, and make sure that you get set up so that we can talk about these things and how you can, again, create a better environment for your money and yourself by learning how you can treat it differently, think about it differently, work with it differently, invest it differently, plan with it with purpose. And that way you get a much better result in the long run. Because remember, if you don't do these things, if you don't take the time to learn, somebody will take advantage of you. And that's a greater number of what we're watching right now. Again, there are good data metrics, folks, to show us that if we're not careful, what happens to our money, how fast it leaves our pocket if we're not looking out for it, right? So again, think differently. So here's something I always like to share with folks. This is a fun little tidbit of information to learn. And acronyms, if you know what acronyms are, basically words that mean other longer things and sentences and so forth. So my favorite acronym is TIN-STOFL. That's 2 words. Spell it for you. T as in Tom, I-N as in Nancy, TIN. The second word, STOFL, simply S as in Sam, T-A-A-F as in Frank, L. TIN-STOFL. Put a Mr. in front of that. Now, here's like a way I like to introduce Mr. TIN-STOFL is simply this. Folks, to all of you right now watching here, I'm going to introduce you to an individual who has been with you since your birth. And if you're not careful, he will be with you after you are gone. And that is Mr. TIN-STOFL. Mr. Tim Stoffel has been absolutely part of your financial world from your very existence on this planet. The first job you had, he was staring right back at you. Every dime you've ever spent, he's had a piece of it and a hand in it. So Tim Stoffel, this is fun. Now write this down, folks. You'll never forget it, and then repeat it to yourself so you always remember it. There is no such thing as a free lunch. Tim Stoffel. So I love that piece. And again, it just makes an easy way to think about when you're out spending your money, look for Mr. Tim Stoffel, because there is no such thing as a free lunch. The free lunch offered is paid for by somebody, I can assure you. And so remember that. That is the foundation of our economy. Unfortunately, it is that way, folks. Eyes wide open, educated, be educated. Don't guess. Don't bury your head. Don't just go with the herd. Don't be with the lemmings running off the cliff. Stop, pause, and think. This is where the psychology must change. If it doesn't seem reasonable or logical, stop, pause, check it out, ask questions, ask good questions. If you don't get good answers, there's a reason for that. Pay attention, right? You have to really kind of slow down the process when it comes to money. Ask good questions. Ask deep questions. If you're not satisfied, ask more questions before you ever make a decision. That way, at least you know that the information that you're getting is solid, it's sound, and you can get confidence behind it. Always look for the truth and facts when it comes to money, because we're living in a world of hype and fiction. And hype and fiction right now is running the day, folks. We just look around us, look on the news cycle. It's craziness what's happening. But it's the truth in which we live. It's the environment in which we live is what's going to shape our psychology of how we interact with money. So if you want to change that interaction, you've got to change the way you're thinking about your money. Again, it's not hard to concept. It's very simple concept. If you want something different, you must do something different. And to do something different, you have to think something different. So again, this is where the fun comes in with money and learning how you can better your money management skills. Again, get that smart money management idea. Use the Wealth Defender strategy as part of your paradigm of savings. And now you create yourself with a budget on a calendar. And now we have the most powerful set of financial tools that one can use to keep themselves on track, to save well for the future, to have all of your needs covered when it's time. It's really not difficult, folks. You just have to learn a few basics. You have to be willing. You have to be diligent. You have to stick to it. Remember, it's your life. This is your future. This is your money. And if you don't take care of it, somebody's going to take it from you. Think of that way, right? Architect, design it, architect it, build it, be willing to take action upon it. And we are here to help. So again, go to our website, thefinancialeducationgroup.com. I'll say it again, thefinancialeducationgroup.com. Please go to our website, hit the book now button, book yourself an appointment, puts you right into my calendar. Download some information. There are some great things to read and learn there. Some real education-based good stuff that'll provoke some thought-provoking things in your mind about finances and get you thinking differently, right? That's what we have to have happen out here. It's crazy. The statistic of financial illiteracy is winning this argument, folks. Right now, it is deemed, it's estimated that 85 to 90% of all Americans are deemed to be financially illiterate. And I say it's an honest fact only because it's not taught. People are subject to the market. It's a predatory marketplace by nature. And most folks don't have any idea of the foundation of knowledge necessary to become successful with money. And that's why the vast majority of people are not successful with their money. The statistics are scary right now, folks. There's a good one that I'm following that I track very closely, and it fluctuates quite a bit. But currently, right now, we're looking at more than 70% of America, more than 7 out of 10 of you right now, 7 out of 10 of you watching this right now cannot put your hands on $10,000. That's tragic. That's tragic. It's only because of a lack of knowledge of how to do that, how to save properly, how to budget properly, right? So again, guys, don't be afraid. It's not fearful. Fear's the other acronym I like to teach, FEAR, right? False evidence appearing real. Nothing to be afraid of. Learn as much as you can. Education dispels fear. So become educated. Become learned about your money. Learn some things. Ask questions. Right? It's not hard. Look, read, examine, take your time, ask questions, get some help. We're here to help. Call us, set up an appointment, 800-719-7917. That's 800-719-7917. Go to our website, thefinancialeducationgroup.com. Come here every Thursday night. And again, we're going to keep changing this topic around, but it's going to focus on a theme. And that theme is education is the key to your financial success. It truly is, folks. Thank you for coming to class. I truly appreciate you being here. I hope you get something out of it. I hope I hear from all of you that are listening or watching right now. And again, until next time, class is dismissed, and I'll see you next class.